Today's shoe is at least the third or fourth LeBron 18 low that we've looked at the channel. Some of them have been absolutely fire, some of them have been a little bit, so basically they've been very simple colorways, although we have to say the LeBron Palmers were an absolute wild shoe, flashing back to, I think, was it LeBron 4 was the original LeBron shoe, and that was the most recent 18 low that we've done. And then here we are today with the first time, for me anyway, to look at a LeBron 18 low that's a collaboration with Mimi Plange. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I am not at all fashionable, obviously. But she's a fashion designer, fashion icon, and she's bringing that fashion world into these LeBron sneakers. And it's the first time that I've got any kind of collaboration with the LeBron lows. They've always just been the colorways churning out from the LeBron line. But this is it. It's a collaboration. There's a lot going on in the shoe that's coming in from Mimi. There's a lot that's sticking in there from LeBron himself. And of course, there's stuff in there from the Nike line too. So we're going to get into all that as we take a close-up look at the upcoming release on June the 2nd of the Nike LeBron 18 Low Higher Learning. This is the Tokyo Bara 23 Secret Channel. Tokyo Bara 23 Secret Channel です。毎日アップするので、毎日見てください。Every single day. From Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And in the spotlight today is a LeBron 18 Low, and it's very, very cool. There's tons of cool hits on it. There's tons of neat little tricks playing in it. There's a few questions I have about it, my own opinions that go into that. But all around, it's a great looking shoe with a brilliant story to it. And I'm going to bring you all of that I told you before at the start of this video, all about what LeBron's put in the shoe, all about what Nike have put in the shoe, and all about what Mimi Plange just put into this shoe. And I'm going to pronounce that terribly, and people are going to hammer me in the comments down below, but you know what, if I've got it wrong, I've got it wrong. But it's a great shoe, lots going on in there. The LeBron 18s, like I said, the LeBron Palmers were the most recent one that I did, and they were a wild colorway. This colorway is a little bit less a wild. It's kind of standard as far as white, maroon, and yellow / gold go. They're a very standard combination of colors, whereas those LeBronals were just a wild sort of tropical feel to them. But there's more than that on the shoe. It's not just about the structure and the colors and the silhouette. It's also that collaboration element coming in from Mimi, and it's a brilliant shoe to be able to bring to you guys today. And hopefully what I show you on it, you'll be like, you know what, I hadn't thought of it that way. That's an interesting feature. And you know what I think I'll do? I'm going to jump into the juicy bit right first, the bit that people are finding a little bit harder to see. You know what, they say it's on social media and it's on websites and stuff like that. I'm just a kid from Akron, but then when they brought out the official sort of media releases for the pictures for this shoe, the promotional materials, I didn't see the insoles on them, and I couldn't find that. Just a kid from Akron. But bang, here are the insoles removed from the shoe, and you can see on both of them it says just a kid from Akron. That's a great detail on the shoe, hidden on the insoles there. I was looking all over these guys, on the heels, on the ladder, on the medial, on the outsole, trying to find the tongues, everything, trying to find where it says just a kid from Akron. And then I finally found this picture, like I said, here with the insoles taken out, and you can see it there. Not just that though, but the A in Akron, if I remember correctly, is the letter man A, and we need to kind of stick with that letter man A. Keep that in our minds, and then jump to the swoosh, which looks just like this. Now, being a white swoosh, it's actually quite difficult to see the definition on there, but hopefully you'll take my word for it, or the old magic green screen will tell you what I'm about to tell you, which is that it's made of that fluffy kind of fabricy material that letters on Letterman jackets usually have, you know, like an M or something up here. Why don't we say an A for Akron up here in that sort of fluffy, fleecy material? And you can see that on the tongue, on the swoosh on the lateral side on this shoe, but it's a bit of a, I don't know, it's a bit misleading especially if you're not American, because Letterman jackets, basically it's a very standard jacket, usually one block of color up the middle and different colors on the sleeves, and then one single letter up here. But these shoes are actually shouting out to the varsity jacket and not a Letterman jacket. Now, I'm from the UK, neither of these jackets make any sense. You just don't get them. It's just not culturally something that happens in the UK. It's a very American, as far as I'm concerned, or North American feature of higher education and universities, and even in high schools, that Letterman jacket. But the varsity jacket is slightly different. For one, it's got much more going on in it. It'll have many more icons and badges and not just the letter up there, but much more going on the jacket itself. And two, it's designed for formal situations, according to the research that I did, but not formal like as in the prom or a school dance or a wedding, but formal as in, right, the team is getting together to do some kind of event, like promotional event, for example. You wear your varsity jacket, not your letterman jacket. And these shoes are apparently dedicated to that varsity jacket side of things. And that's where the higher education bit comes in. And it was the higher education bit that drew me in, because my actual full-time job, my day job, is in education. And when I saw a LeBron 18 low called higher education, I was like, absolutely going to be having a look at that, especially when we know about the I Promise school that LeBron made in Akron to give back to the community and bring quality education to his own hometown. So all of that played in together for me. I was thinking this is definitely a shoe that I want to have a look at. And speaking of those varsity jackets and all that Letterman stuff, we might as well have a look at the medial side. Question for you guys out there. Yes, it's very obvious that you can see the extra badges on the side here, not just those Letterman badges that I was talking about, but the extra varsity badges. But they look to me like they're removable. I don't know how they've shown up on the green screen, but to me they almost look like they're barely touching the upper and would come off very, very easily. Now, I might be completely wrong about that, and they might be stitched on and absolutely not removable, but to me they look a little bit like they could be attachable and detachable, so it's kind of a neat feature on the medial side. And then if we go back a little bit on that medial side to the heel, you can see the yellow heel there with the debossed swoosh in it, which is a really neat feature of the shoe. So you've got on the lateral side that kind of Letterman fluffy swoosh in white, which is outlined in maroon, and then on the medial side you don't really have a swoosh except for this sort of debossed imprint on the heel section at the back there. And speaking of the heel section, we might as well go back to the lateral side heel section and look at one of the main features of the shoe, which again comes off of that varsity jacket ideas. Now it's a tiger, and I'm pretty sure, I'm like, confused by this, but I'm pretty sure that LeBron mostly sort of identifies the king with lions, so it's kind of interesting to see a tiger on a shoe of his. I'm not sure what that's coming from or where that's going to, but it's still a very cool feature, the tiger wrapping around from the very back of the heel onto the lateral side, and one of the biggest features of the shoe, so something for you guys to keep an eye out for. And another thing to keep an eye out for is if you look from above, it's one of my favorite features of the LeBrons, is this kind of cross effect that runs across the upper, and in the case of these guys you can see that cross is in that maroon and white. But to me, what I'm thinking it feels like is, it feels like the I don't know if you call it a ribbon for a medal. You win a gold medal and they put it around your neck with a something. It might be, I was going to say mallard, but that's a kind of duck. There's a word for that piece. It's not a piece of string, but like a ribbon that's attached to the medal. And to me, these kind of look like medal ribbons, in that cross that goes across the upper on both shoes. And that leads into one of my favorite parts of the shoe, which is the front end, where you see, usually you'd see a little bit of color definition between the upper and the mudguard, but in these guys it bleeds straight in from the upper into the mudguard in white, so it gives a very kind of complete feel to the shoe instead of having them in contrast in two different colors. For example, in this shoe you could expect it to be in white and the mudguard in maroon, for example. And then really the final thing to look at, I think, is the outsole, to go have a look at that, where it's red in maroon, which is an interesting sort of pairing of colors that goes really well with the upper. I think there are a couple of hits in there as well, like an extra hit of pink and something else as well in that outsole in there, but it's a very neat outsole. And I've forgotten one other thing which is worth going up to, which is the opposite end of the shoe, and having a look at the laces, because for some reason they went with hits of green in the laces, which was kind of unusual and unexpected. A bit of a surprise, but a welcome surprise on what is a very nicely well put together shoe, and making that crossover between fashion and sports really, really nicely. So Mimi, I'm not going to mess up the pronunciation of your family name, Lebron, Nike, there's enough from all of you guys here. Just a kid from Akron from LeBron, the Letterman and the varsity jacket sort of stuff from Mimi, and then the Nike stuff, the actual silhouette of the shoe itself, all coming together, making a cracking LeBron 18 low, which is a collaboration with a fashion designer out there, so it could be quite a big shoe. Coming on June the 2nd, a bit fast. I didn't see this one coming, and I'm having to do this video about a week before the drop date, which isn't usually what I like to do. I like a bit more distance between the video and the drop date, but it isn't going to happen with this one, but that's the way it sometimes falls at the channel. And speaking of the way it falls at the channel, the way it falls every single day is that I do daily content for you guys and put it up on YouTube 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. And because of that, I get to say the same thing at the end of every single video. So I do this every single day, and that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.